the minutes as presented.
A motion, do we have a second? Can you bring up the volume a little bit? Commissioner Clemens, please. All right, I heard your second. We have an approval of this agenda. Well, motion to approve and a second. It won't, all that's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, we have no nays. We'll now move forward to item C, approval of the minutes from the June meetings. Work session meeting, minutes held on June 10th, and executive session meeting minutes held on June 10th.
Offer a motion. Mr. Chair, to approve the minutes. I thought that's what I just did, but it gets.
Well, for the agenda.
It was for the agenda.
All right.
Second.
All right, we got a motion to approve work session and executive session on June 10th, 2026, and we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. No nays. We now move to new business. Resident Council, Ms. Maisha Olson.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would like to invite everyone to take a moment to pause, center ourselves, and prepare for the discussion ahead. Please take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. Allow yourself a moment to release the stress and distractions of the day and be present in this space. Let us take a moment of reflection to recognize the importance of coming together, supporting one another, and continuing to build a stronger community. May we approach tonight's conversation with open minds, respect, and a shared commitment to make positive progress. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, and let us begin. All right. So we have chose our dates for the month of July. Our first meeting will be on July 9th. At 5:30 p.m. The next one will be on the 16th at 6. 23rd at 5:30. And the 31st will be the second annual Come Together Day. And that will begin at 3:30 and end at 5:30 in McIntyre Court. We will have our first family STEM night that will be on the 23rd, and that will be with COS Soccer. He is going to provide us with the STEM kits for the families to work together on.
You said COS?
Yes, we're working together. Yes, sir.
That's for the come together there.
No, that is for the 23rd. That's our first STEM night. Our first STEM family night. We're gonna do one quarter. And that's participation bill that we could move on with the one for. Any questions?
It's good. Sound like got a busy month in July.
Yes. It's okay.
How's your participation?
It's actually gotten better. We have been seeing different faces that I've never seen, so that's a good thing. The text blasts, they do help. There have been a couple of people that aren't public housing, but they are Section 8, and they have come over. A lot of times it'll be after the pantry day, and we'll just allow them to sit in on some of those days, so that they can be there. And a lot of the things that I do bring up in the meeting and things that pertain to them as well.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that.
About
If voucher holders can participate, or do they have a similar entity that they're supposed to have?
No, they're not. They wouldn't participate in ours, but being that the third Thursday is the day of the pantry and it is for voucher holders as well, I'm not going to turn them away from coming to the meeting that day.
Right. No, I understand you. Why you're doing it? I was just saying, officially, really, I'm putting this to the staff, Mr. Basden, actually. does the vouchers holders are they able to organize like the tenants are doing?
They can, and they have the same support services that public housing has as well. So when we do the pantry day, they can come by the pantry. If we have a financial planner or someone from the empowerment company, they can participate. They're subsidized as well, so there's no distinction. We try to make it even across the board.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like we have Ms. Hosley as the president, and she has other members. Can they organize like that and have an entity or leadership among voucher holders? And we know that they will be working together or being able to participate together. It's what I hear you saying, but I'm talking about the leadership in organizing and helping to rally them.
We've never envisioned it, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. If that's something that they're interested in, yes, when we do the annuals, when they come through to update their file, we can put out the request and see if that's something that they would want to do.
Okay. All right, let's talk about that. I think there's a way to encourage it, because we have how many voucher holders?
Six.
Okay, so that's 613 families in addition to public housing. And so, we got 10 of them to begin to participate. It may help us with them understanding the importance, us keeping the vouchers where we're working with people who are working. So it helps other families. I think that they don't really know that. Obviously other people don't know it either, because people think we just got vouchers, holding them and not giving them to people. So let's have a couple ideas and share the chairman and Ms. Douglas.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ms. Hosen? All right, thank you, Ms. Hosen. Appreciate it. Now we move to item B, 2026-2027 operational budget, and there is a vote required. I'll now open up this time for a statement from Mr. Bazin, as well as we'll have discussion from the board.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. As our fiscal year ends on June the 30th, 2026, we start our new operations July 1st, and we brought before the board in the work session on the 10th of June the operational budget that was presented by Ms. Barbara Newman, who's on the team's call now. It was a lot of information. It was all of the departments, the breakdown. If you go through the tabs, you can actually look at line by line item. And the point was to get it to the board in enough time for them to be able to review it and then come back with any and all questions so that we can answer them today and hope for the approval of the budget. By having the board approve the budget, that allows us to go ahead and meet that requirement that HUD asked for, that we have a new budget, operating budget, by the start of the new year. And we can then proceed to start working on our unaudited financial statements in July. That will allow us an opportunity to go ahead and have that submitted before the end of August, which can then allow us to start working on our audited financial statements ahead of time. And instead of submitting those in February and March of 2027, our aim is with our auditors to have it submitted by the end of this year. So instead of doing the typical 9 months for the audit, we're trying to do 6. And this is the first step to moving in that direction. And so Ms. Newman is available to answer any and all questions. If there's anything in specific that I can't answer, Otherwise, if there are no questions, then we would ask the board to approve the operating budget for 2027.
Commissioners, have you had a chance to look over the budget? And I haven't received any feedback from Mr. Johnson or Commissioner Hayes about the budget. So I'm not sure where they stand. Where are you guys at? I only have one question, and I asked it after you all.
No, I'm good with it. I thought the Basin and Newman did a great job at putting this together and explaining it. It was a lot of information, but I do kind of get used to it. The county budget is probably 20 times bigger than this. And so you have to trust your staff, but when they explain it, you can tell if they're sincere about what the numbers are. If they are confident in the numbers, a better word.
Mr. Clemens?
You know, this is crazy. I don't think I have any questions. I do have one observation, and that is that in a very good way, this is a drastically different representation of how we've seen the budget. So with it being really the first year that we've seen it broken down this way, and I know we've been working towards this, I think for the past couple of years, but there is a lot to digest. I think it'd be really helpful to have some consistency year over year in how we look at this. So just want to flag that I hope next year we're looking at it in exactly the same form, so that we can get a little bit more comfortable year over year as we go through. And then not really a question, but just a confirmation from Mr. Basin. My question last time was, are all of your department heads comfortable? I hope we haven't given everybody exactly what they want, but I hope they're comfortable with what they're getting for their department. Does everybody feel like they're accounted for still? There haven't been any changes since that discussion last time?
There's been no changes, and I think the way we were able to accomplish that is because we found areas within each department that we're able to cut and trim that will allow them to use those expenditures in other aspects of how we operate. And so it's a trade-off. We can get rid of waste, and we can use that money to better the departments with staff, with technology, with supplies, things that's going to make their job easier on a day-to-day basis. And so no one took a massive decrease. If anything, we've been able to utilize those wastes and add them back into the department.
Wonderful. Thank you. This looks good, and like Commissioner Dickerson said, or Commissioner Booker said, we've got to rely on you guys that everything's accounted for. But as to the form and substance, it looks fine to me.
All right, thank you all for those discussions. My only question would be, whether Ms. Newman, you can answer this, or Mr. Basin, where are we? I was trying to get clarity when I was looking at the budget as far as our grants, the Ross and the Jobs Plus. Where are we?
The reason why Ms. Newman didn't include them in the budget is because it's a one-on, one-off. The money we have in the grant is the money that we use in the program. So the second we pay expenses and salaries, that money comes right back down out of the grant to reimburse the housing authority. So it's a grant that's just a one-off item, and that's why it wasn't included in the budget. Jobs Plus still has its funding. It still has its full staff. It's still executing its program. The same for FSS. I believe Mr. Jackson identified that we still have the $101,000 that we're utilizing to continue to run the program. The Ross grant had expired, but an extension was filed, and that was extended for another fiscal year. And so the funding we have for that program is still in place as well to pay the Ross coordinator.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a meeting to discuss the grant budget and the expenses, because I need to get a better understanding of that. I won't take the time tonight, but I would like to have a time with you all, get an understanding of that, because I really want to ensure that those funds are being used to its fullest potential for the residents as well as this organization. So I just need to get a better understanding of what's going on. All right.
Can I just get one piece of clarity there? I think we all know this, but just so that anybody listening, Mr. Basin, it's not that we don't account for the grants. They're just not in our budget here. The grant funds are audited separately, and those funds are held in separate accounts and administered or audited, for lack of a better word, by HUD. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. Those funds are held specifically in the ELOC system, and so once we paid the expenses for the month, we go back into the system, and those funds are drawn down from the grant after HUD approval of the expenses. And so it's a one-off, one-on. It's not a part of the actual budget, because there we're actually generating revenue, and we're actually experiencing losses as well. And so that's slightly different from the grant, which is a set amount, and we're going to utilize that amount that's in the grant.
Great, thank you.
All right. Thank you for that clarity. I now ask for a motion to approve the 2026-2027 operational budget.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion to approve the FY 2026-2027 operational budget as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. I'm sure there's no further discussion. All that's in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, no nays. Motion carries. Now we move to item C, PHA update. Mr. Chris Bates.
I do want to be included in that meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
About the discussion
Absolutely.
about the grant.
Absolutely.
Because this is the last meeting we're having for this fiscal year, I just wanted to go over a couple things to kind of give the board and the general public an idea of some of the key areas where we started last July of 2025 and where we're ending the year here coming up on June 30th, 2026. The first area I want to start in is our vacancy. And so again, the HUD requirement is that we maintain a vacancy, an occupancy level of 96.0%. When we started last year in July, we were right around 92.3%. The last 4 months from April up until now, we currently have 12 vacant units out of 589. We have a few lease signings this week, so we'll probably be under 10, somewhere around 7 or 8 vacant units. And that puts us right around 98%. HUD did notify Public Housing, Maintenance, and myself that they were satisfied that we had made this change where we're no longer hovering right around below 96%, where we're clearly 2 points above it. And our goal is to be at 100%. The next area I wanted to identify was the Public Indian Housing and Information Center, known by HUD as PIC. Here is where
Public Indian. Say it again.
Public Indian and Housing Information Center, and it's just referred to as PIC. Here is the system that HUD utilizes to determine the use of our vouchers, as well as what families are in what units that we operate. The issue we had was there was historical errors that went back to 2018, 2019, where the error was never fixed. There was a family in that unit, but for purposes of HUD's calculation, which had a lot to do with why we can never get over 96%, we were not getting credit for those units. And so we identified this issue. July of 2025, we had somewhere around 300 errors. We got with the consultant between Ms. Smith and Ms. Douglas and working late hours. By the start of this year, January 2026, we were under 150 errors. I pulled the number today, June 22nd, 2026, we literally have 69. And we have identified a list of historical errors that we've utilized a consultant to remove from the system. And we're unable to get them cleared, and we've sent them up to HUD to actually have them removed. When they act on this list, we're probably going to be somewhere under 30. And the goal, again, going into 2027, July 1st, 2026, is to get below 20 and keep it there. This will impact our vacancies, our occupancy. This also impacts our vouchers, and we want to be able to get credit for all the work we're doing. And so this was a big task that they wanted us to diligently work on. And with the support of the team, we've been able to accomplish that. And that number is only going to continue to go down. The next area I would point out, it falls under HR. We've included 7 new employees. I think when we started July of 2025, we had 5 maintenance workers, and that was an issue as far as trying to complete work orders and trying to punch the units so that we could, as soon as we move the family out, we could move another family in. We want to always stay right between 10 and 14 days, if we can 21 days, and somehow we were hovering around 30, 40 days. We've hired a new maintenance guy, Benjamin Floyd. We have 2 apprentices that we were able to recruit from Job Corps. One of the apprentices, who has a time period between 12 and 18 months before they can become full maintenance, everyone is in agreement that probably in August he's going to become full maintenance. So he's done it in less than the 12 months. That's actually the minimum of where you can have the conversion. Additionally, we have.
So how many maintenance that is?
That's going to get. We would go from 6 to 7. And we have another apprentice as well that just started last month.
It's good, especially Job Corps is my baby, so I like to hear that.
And when you say apprentice, that means they're actually working. They're just not getting full paid for while they're in the program, and they're training. Basically,
they're being trained,
but they are still on the job.
They are correct.
So we do have their hands.
That is correct.
On the work.
So just on a I guess a humorous note, I was out at Job Corps 3 weeks ago for a gathering to talk about work-based learning and how we could partner with the program. And a young man came up to me and said that, he wanted to work with maintenance and what could he do. And so I spoke with the work-based learning coordinator. He was in a training as a painter. He came out to the Housing Authority. He started working with us last week on Monday. At the end of his first day, when he completed, before they picked him up to take him, he came into the main building and he did an application for employment. And so they have been giving him tasks that would probably be at a difficulty level higher than what a work-based student or what an apprentice would have. And he thus far, in going into 2 weeks, has been very successful at it. So it's just good to be able to identify those diamonds in the rough every now and then. And clearly, if things continue in the way that they're going, he's going to be a member of the team before 2026 is over.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
Again, hiring enough maintenance people has been a challenge for Ms. Reed and myself since we've been here. We're starting to make progress, and so definitely something to point out. We have 2 interns for the summer. Ms. Hirsch from UGA, and Mr. Myers. He's from the local college here, Coastal. He'll be starting Wednesday. Both of them have math and finance background, and I see a tremendous opportunity to improve how we do things internally.
On the maintenance thing,
Yes.
amazing. I feel like the maintenance is like first responders for the county or the city. If you need them, let's get them. And if you run across somebody that, especially like this young man, that you know would fit, you know, even if we have to amend the budget, I'll be for that. Bring them on. Because maintenance for our families, especially in these 50-something-year-old plus.
So in our budget, we're budgeted to have up to 10 maintenance workers, and so anyone that we bring on between now and June 30th of 2027, they would fall into the money we've already set aside for those salaries.
Gotcha.
An update: Southeast Georgia Housing Authority, one of our sister entities, they're going to be in town next week. They come in on a Monday. They're going to come over to the Housing Authority on Tuesday, June 30th, and on Wednesday, July the 1st. The reason why they're coming is because their maintenance director, he teaches the maintenance class at all of the GARD conferences. Not only does he teach the classes, but he's the one maintenance director in the state of Georgia that has routinely gotten 100 on his inspections. And though the number of units they have pale in comparison to what we have, specifically when it comes to the age of our units, but the fact that there's a true policy and procedure in place that I think we can actually benefit from, and those 2 days they'll be here on the property with us are going to be the time that we're going to utilize to take advantage of ways that we can do better. We're supposed to have an AMP2 inspection before September, and if that's the case, again, like I told our HUD portfolio specialist, we're aiming for 80 and above. The executive director, Ms. Williamson, is also coming. She's going to spend a day in the office with myself, looking at some of our day-to-day operations. She has 15 plus years of experience as an ED, and things that she can point out that we can do better. I can do better and differently, more efficiently. We're going to take advantage of that as well. So we're happy that they want to collaborate with us, and they'll come down and they'll support us.
What's her name again?
Laura Williamson. And by all means, if anyone from the board wants to sit and meet with anyone from that housing authority, please let us know and we can arrange it. Rather it be a lunch or dinner, they're going to be in town for 3 days. The next update I have is through IT, we're moving towards a new website that's going to give us a new look, a new design. It'll be more in line with some of the other larger housing authorities in the state of Georgia and outside of the state of Georgia. I think one of the biggest things we're looking for is the ability where we can move to an electronic payment system. Mr. Skipper has been able to start the trial run with the system called Paymentus. We did one resident, to the best of my knowledge, that worked out fine. I think the next step would be for us to target one of the amps and do a trial basis with them.
So it's called Paymentus.
Paymentus.
So we're ready to go now.
We have to be cautious and take steps to ensure that when we are ready to go, there are no glitches, because we don't want to come to a board meeting and have to write off all the debt because none of the payments went through.
Did that first payment go through?
It did, to the best of my knowledge. Yes.
It did. Okay.
The other thing we did through
Paymentus.
Paymenteus.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Paymenteus.
just the way I spelled it, I didn't even know.
Okay. All right.
Well, you did.
Sure.
Glenn Academy.
Sure, Commissioner Hayes would be happy to hear that.
Yes, that was a top priority for her. It was a top priority for her. And we've been moving towards that as well as the applications being digital, so we can cut down on the copy costs as well as the paper supply, and just trying to be more modern with how other housing authorities are operating as well. I think we went with a venue called DocuSign. It hasn't given us all of the capabilities that we imagined when we first entered into an agreement with them, and so we're looking to try and maybe pivot with another vendor. Again, the goal is before 2026 ends for us to be able to move to a completely digital format. We would still print the documents for purposes of having a paper file, so whenever we do the inspections, or whenever we do the audits, we'll actually have the paper documents as well. We'll have the digital version as well.
You say DocuSign is not working for us?
Not as well as we thought. Not as well as their presentation of how they could integrate into the documents we have and make it an easy, a seamless process. It has not been. There have been challenges. The last update I had was just based on for HCV and public housing. We have been routinely as a team working with our zero income residents to try to see what services we can provide in order to make them self-sufficient, rather that be in public housing or if they have a housing choice voucher. Again, the plan is we're not a work to move housing authority. That's something one day we would like to entertain with the board, but at this point, just trying to be able to give the residents the services that are necessary to help them achieve self-sufficiency. It's an ongoing thing, and it's something that we typically bring residents in at least once a month or a quarter and try and talk about what it is we can do to support their opportunity for employment. Rather it be a certificate, rather it be an AA or any type of certificate program that we can push them through Coastal Pines or Coastal College. And that's the update of where we are. We have a long way to go, but I do want the board to know that we are making strides. Maybe not the strides that we envisioned that we would be in, but we're going to get there. And when we have this discussion again by the end of the first quarter or midway through the fiscal year 26-27, you're going to see continual growth in all of the area matrix. These are not all the updates that go across all the housing authorities. These are just the key ones that I wanted to point out for the meeting today.
Any questions, any discussion?
Well, I did have a question. I forgot what it was. I want to see it on.
I would like to say I like the fact that vacancy report that is remaining at 98%. I like that. I think that's the first time I've seen it like this since I've been a commissioner. It's pretty remarkable. All the updates, of course, are showing great partnership too. I like the fact that Southeast Georgia, I had a chance to meet the actual maintenance person, and I'm glad that they are coming. And that should put us at a good place as far as training of our maintenance staff and our new maintenance staff that we have. So I like that. I like to go back to the interns. You said they have finance background. Let's do a little explaining on that. We're trying to get an understanding of that.
Ms. Hirsch, she is a math major with a minor in finance, and she is going to take a look at helping us with our unaudited financial statement that we're going to start on in July. as well as just I had her in the office today, and we were talking about where some of the staff was she needs to meet and introduce herself and work with, and she wasn't really sure where the office was because she's only been here for a week. But I don't want her to spend her time in the office sitting at a desk working on a desktop. I want her to be able to interact with housing choice vouchers, with public housing, with the front desk, with how we do procurement through maintenance, and how we do our purchase orders also through maintenance. Because again, having someone who's been in the classroom for going on 4 years to be able to see what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, they're going to see things that we don't see. They're going to ask questions to make us think, well, is this the best way we can do things? To have them take a look at what checks are actually going to be dispersed on a check date to ensure these are what our expenses are. Does this look out of line? Is this something that we can do differently? Is invaluable. And the thing that I like about, to move on to Mr. Myers, is that he has a maintenance background because he was a mechanic in the Air Force for 6 years. And so he comes to us as a senior looking to expound on his business and his finance. And we've been looking for someone that can help Mr. Williams in maintenance. And the reason it's been so hard is because the equipment and the tools that he's constantly ordering and purchasing, most people, even if they have that kind of background, they don't have the background knowledge of the tools. And so it was just lucky that we were able to find him before he found another internship and be able to pull him in. And I think he's going to help us go a long way in rectifying how we're doing our work orders, how we're making our purchases, giving Mr. Williams a hand, because he used to have a maintenance clerk that used to help him. Now he's trying to do it all himself. He's the kind of individual that's not going to say no. He's not going to ask for help. But now we have someone that he will feel confident. I showed him the resume, and he's looking forward to it as well. And so internally, some of the things that we're continually growing and working on is how we can improve how we do things financially. And these two can help us in a short term and potentially have a long-term future with this as well.
So there's a maintenance clerk position open.
Yes.
Any other clerk positions? I know I'm sidetracking a bit. Since we on HR update. You don't have to now. You can tell me later.
No, I don't think there's another clerk position. I don't think. I'm not sure if we were going to do a clerk for HCV or not. I know we had talked about it.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
No. Any other discussion, anything, Commissioner Clemens?
Nothing here.
Good here. Nothing else to be discussed about, no votes or anything for your updates, right?
No.
All right, well, I'll now ask for a motion for executive session so we can go into real estate, legal, as well as personnel.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion that we go in executive session for real estate, legal, and personnel.
Motion, have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion to go into executive session, second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, motion